Hi guys, and welcome to my review of Pitch Black, a movie that I've watched many times, and it was good to watch it again. It's like 20 years old now, which is crazy to think about because this was the movie that started Vin Diesel's career as well. Well, made him like get into lead roles anyway, because this was like his first lead role for Vin Diesel. Before Fast and Furious and all that, before those type of movies. Because I know he hasn't done just Fast and Furious. He's done like he has led other type of movies than just that franchise. But yeah, this was his first big one, and probably his most memorable out of everything that he's done. Kind of wish that we got a new one, but oh well. This is still the best one anyway. I'd say the third one is the second best, and then the Chronicles of Riddick. I'd say that's like last place. I don't know. I feel like I need to give that movie a second chance. I've only seen it twice. Like the first time, I wasn't really a big fan of it. Second time, at least I did pay attention more, but still, yeah. Maybe the third time will be the charm. Oh, yeah, this is definitely the best one. Legendary movie, a very good sci-fi film. But yeah, I guess I'll just start talking about the cast, but I could say a bit of the plot. So basically, they have a prisoner on a ship called Riddick, and they're transporting him to, I guess, a prison or something. It's kind of like the storyline what the second movie does, but well, more like a different planet anyway, because they end up getting crashed onto this other planet, and they're fighting these creatures that they don't even know what they are on this planet, because it just seems like a desert island. And as they go deeper in, they just find a lot of stuff. And at first, it seems like they blame Riddick for what's happening, but then decide to find out that there's other things more dangerous than Riddick on this planet. And then I'll talk more about it when get closer to spoilers. But I'm just going to talk about the cast. All right, so the cast of Pitch Black. So, like I said before, we have Vin Diesel as the main, lead. We have Radha Mitchell as Caroline Fry, the captain of the ship. We have Cole Hauser, William J. Johns. Yeah, I know that actor from like the second Fast and Furious movie, Too Fast, Too Furious. It's kind of funny that it's actually like Vin Diesel and Cole Hauser never actually are in the movie together, even though they've been in the same franchise, which is funny to think about, since Vin Diesel's not in the second Fast and Furious movie. But yeah, like I'm not. He's like one of my least favorite Fast and Furious villains. With number one when it comes to my least favorite being the Fate of the Furious villain. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of her. Yeah, if you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, he's man. This guy's he does have one scene in Too Fast Too Furious where that's kind of the only good scene he really had. The wat scene. Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, if you've seen the movie. But yeah, he's definitely better in this movie and a great rival to Riddick, since they keep butting heads throughout the movie, which is some good stuff. Then we have Rihanna Griffith as Jack. I can't really say this is a spoiler because you can kind of tell that it's a girl, because there's this boy, well, someone who's pretending to be a boy, but it's actually a girl, which you find out near the end. Yeah. Well, past like at the late second act, you find out that it's a girl, and I'm just gonna stop from there because we'll get into spoiler stuff. But she's kind of someone that idolizes Riddick and what he does, I guess. Then there's Keith David as Imam. I think he's like a worshipper of Allah in this movie, and he has all these followers that are with him. But I'll talk more about them once we get into spoilers. But yeah, I know Keith David mostly from Saints Row as Julius, and the Arbiter as well, he played the Arbiter in Halo. Yeah, and he's done many other things in live action. He's a legend. Oh yeah, Claudia Black as Sharon Saza. Well, the first time I guess I would have known what she's in is, I guess, Gears of War 3 as Sam, like I guess Bade's kinda girlfriend. And then I guess she's probably the best known for Chloe Fraser from the Uncharted series. Yeah, like watching this movie like for the second time after many years, I kind of noticed that it was Chloe Fraser from Uncharted because the voice. Yeah, but I'm not going to talk too much about her right now. Then we have, I guess, Lewis Fitzgerald as Paris B. Ogilvy. I even like, he's not really a character that I really focus on that much. He just drinks a lot. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to say for him, which I won't have much to say when I talk about spiders anyway. Simon Burke as Greg Owens. Was he the captain? I think he was the captain of the ship. Yeah. Then there's Chantery as Solomon. Yeah. Just another crew member. I think that's one of the followers, Ali. Yeah. But yeah. So that's the whole cast anyway. So yeah, the most important ones are Riddick, Caroline, and William. And then I guess near the end with that reveal, I guess Jack. And then the extra cast are just Imam, Sharon, and Paris. But since it's at the beginning of the movie, should I just say a spoiler if it's even a big deal? But because it happens in the first 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. But the captain does die. Greg Owens. If I'm getting the right character anyway, but I think it's him anyway. Yeah, so he dies in the very first part of the movie anyway. So he doesn't really get proper dialogue. Well, he's kind of still alive, but it slowly bleeds out. Yeah. But I guess I can just get onto the main parts of the story now, since I'm kind of done talking about the cast. So yeah, at the very beginning, the ship basically crashes to an island, and they're kind of in a situation where they could all die. So I guess the one who takes over, is like deciding if she should, pull the lever. But if she does that, like basically all the passengers would be ejected from the ship. Yeah, it's just at the beginning, like she's not really a character that I'm a big fan of. I'm more like on William's side, really, until later on. But yeah, like first impressions of her, not a likable character for what she was nearly gonna do, and she basically did do it. If there was an error of the systems, but yeah, she was willing to kill everyone in the ship, and that just made it instantly unlikable. And you kind of liked William more, even though we didn't really know what he was about until the movie goes on, until we actually get to start knowing his character. Yeah. But yeah, when they finally crash, I guess they're just trying to see who's still alive. It seems like most survived apart from the captain, I guess. And I think was someone attacking them, because we did see some things go through the ship and they actually hit the captain. So yeah. But yeah, they basically end up on the planet, and they're just trying to get out of the wreckage and just see what kind of place this is. Which I guess I'll move on. All right, so then there's Riddick, the main character who doesn't really get any proper dialogue until like 40 minutes into the movie, maybe a bit longer. Yeah, he doesn't get like a lot of focus straight away. They kind of focus on these other characters first, and it kind of makes sense for what happens eventually. But yeah, because he's basically like a prisoner on the ship, and like he's supposed to be known as a really dangerous person from the things that he's done. We also get some backstory of how he got his eyes as well, since he has really like shiny eyes. When you get like a close look at his eyes, like when the captain's trying to look at his eyes, yeah, he just says, "Come closer." Yeah, I just like how Riddick's character is in this movie. Definitely his coolest character, more cool than Dom. Yeah, just his portrayal as his character. You just can't really see anyone else playing as Riddick than Vin Diesel. And if they was gonna make a fourth movie or a reboot, it wouldn't be the same without Vin Diesel. Because even I don't even know, like, because no one else could play as Riddick. It's kind of like me with Wolverine. Like, I just can't see anyone else as them. It just feels like, when someone's like born to play a role. This is the thing for Riddick. Like Vin Diesel was, supposed to be Riddick, and no one else. There's still one thing I hadn't seen from Riddick, the animation stuff. So I guess I'll check that out. And I don't know if there's books as well. Hmm. Because right now I'm, checking out the Buffy comics. So maybe that will be afterwards. And I got reviewed the other two movies too. So yeah. But yeah, he does tell a story of how he actually got those eyes, saying that you need to kill enough people and I guess end up in a cell in just darkness and have a special surgery to your eyes to get the eyes that he has, because with his eyes, like, he can see things other people can't, especially in the dark. Yeah, which makes him so special. And we get to see a lot more of that in, I guess, the second and third movie as well, with his eyes and what he's able to do. But yeah, because they're trying to find out what these creatures are, but he can probably see them before they even know what's going on. Until the first victim takes place. So yeah, at the very beginning, I guess when it comes to the first deaths, Solomon's the one to die because I guess something happens where he basically thinks that Riddick has escaped and shoots this random guy who I guess survived. Was he part of the ship? I'm not really sure. Or was he like from a different ship that crashed? And he was like a survivor, but then Solomon kills him, and then straight afterwards, instant karma, when he kills that innocent person, he gets killed by I guess the first encounter with a creature, but we don't actually get to see it. We just see him getting slowly taken down this hole, and then that's when I guess Caroline goes down to see what's going on with the help of others. And also, I want to mention, I guess, Riddick and John's feud against each other, because I guess we do find out some information that, well, the reason why he hasn't killed him or anything, because why would you actually keep someone like Riddick around? Like, yeah, he might have these creatures to deal with, but he could, at the end, like possibly betray you and get everyone killed. And man, when some of these people are dying, it seems like he doesn't even really care. Because when Solomon shoots that guy, he's just up somewhere, you're just chilling, drinking. It just seems like when it comes to some of the deaths, he doesn't really care. Lol. It's kind of funny. But yeah. But yeah, I do like the best thing about this movie is definitely their rivalry. It kind of reminds me of Shane and Wick. Like basically John's Shane and Riddick's Wick. It's just I get those vibes, but they was never friends, so that's the only difference. So they can be more savage, upon each other, draw weapons at each other. Like it's just fun to watch. You just gotta love their interactions. Well, it's kind of like a rivalry triangle, if that makes any sense. Instead of love triangle, it's more like a rivalry triangle. Because Fry kind of has the same thing with them as well. Her reactions with them, because she kind of eventually sees that Fry's kind of a douche, and that he's only keeping him alive because he found out he knows that basically if he keeps him alive, Riddick's basically worth more alive than dead. So he's basically just like a merc, really. He's more caring about what he could get from Riddick being alive than his actual team. Because it seems like that Caroline was going to be that kind of character, but as the movie goes on, she seems like she just forgets what she did at the beginning when she was willing to sacrifice everyone just so she could live, and by herself she would have died anyway. But luckily, those error in the systems, so no one died in that moment, because like those deaths would have been on her. Yeah, she'd still have John, but eventually, would he really be reliable for how things go in the movie? Because he does reveal some stuff to Riddick which he shouldn't have done. Because he was thinking like Riddick's just someone who doesn't really care about his people, so. And John is maybe kind of the same way when things get crazy and a lot of people start dying. When I don't know when it was the moment when he decided to decide to do this, and when he found out about I guess Jack, because I am talking about spoilers now anyway, so because it's like sometime after I guess Solomon, Sharon dies from those krill type of enemies, enemies, creatures. You know what Wham has, and you see those krill, like they can just like mow you and just eat you up instantly. Oh yeah, that scene, like that was a scene where Sharon, aka Chloe Fraser, could have survived, but she decided to keep winning. Where Riddick was just like on the floor, and then when he got back up, he was just like, "Ooh, that was easy." Man, it's like he had no care what just happened. Yeah. Also with Jack, like I said before, like she's kind of a big fan of Riddick for some reason. Even gets to a point where she starts looking like Riddick. Lol. Yeah. Basically idolizes him, even though she would never be anything like Riddick. Well, for the most part, because the sequel, yeah, which she does survive the first movie, but yeah, the sequel, like she does become a good fighter. Also, Iman, well, however you say Keith David's name in this movie, yeah, he also survives this movie too, because after seeing all of his followers die, all those kids that he tried to protect, come on, we had to see him live, because he was just like he was someone who strongly believed in God, and I guess Riddick kind of does in the same way, which we also get a interesting conversation with them too as well, with Iman and Riddick about God. But I guess Riddick says he does believe in God, like he completely believes in it, but it's not like he's always there for us as well, because he does believe in a God, even though he doesn't really think that God actually cares about them really to help him out. So he feels like praying's pointless, even though he does believe in God. But even after he lost everyone, I guess Iman still had hope, even though it was kind of hard for him after that. When he lost the last person, when he got to the last person and they died by those creatures, because man, those creatures are savage. Because even looks like it gets to a point where they're killing each other. Near the end, you start to realize that when they're trying to escape. Yeah, with the cells, which oh yeah. So I was talking about the cells before. So basically, they need these cells to get the ship working again. But to get the cells, they would need to have light because they can't really see in the dark. So that was a challenging part, when trying to get past the monsters. So they needed to get as much light as they could. Otherwise, without light, they'd be screwed. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I guess Jack does what am I talking about? Find out something about Jack, and that's actually a girl. Yeah. But then she was like, I guess she was bleeding before, and then that kind of attracted the monsters. And Mike's been following the whole movie. So then it kind of gets to a point where, yeah, William wants to kill, Jack, or whatever we should call her. But I guess Riddick doesn't really want to do that. So then that's when he starts to have a fight with. Well, it's kind of like when they separate with the group. It's kind of like reminds me of a bit like with The Walking Dead, where there's that big thing that happens, and then Rick and Shane are slowly separating from the group, and then that's when the big thing happens, the big fight happens. Well, it's not really a big fight in The Walking Dead. It's more like just an intense dialogue scene, but I guess in Riddick, well, Pitch Black, it's more like a mano to mano scene, seeing who really is the better fighter. Yeah, that was definitely a good fight anyway, between Riddick and William, because we all know it was coming eventually, and it definitely didn't disappoint. Also, something that William once said to Riddick, and then Riddick repeated it to him about remembering this moment. No, just everything, just all the dialogue with them too. Like it's just the best. Because yeah, we do get good dialogue between I guess Riddick and I guess Caroline, and then Caroline and Riddick, and then Caroline and William, like just all around with them three specifically, they get the best dialogue in the movie. But yeah, these two anyway, Riddick and William, definitely the most entertaining part of the movie. Apart from seeing all these creatures, man, and the cool world that it was in, definitely has the best environment. I know that the third movie tried to recapture it, but it just wasn't the same. Even though that the first 10 minutes were amazing. When it comes to the third movie, which I can't wait to talk about that when I eventually review the third movie. But yeah, seeing those three suns, just those caves and everything, like it was perfect. And if there is a fourth one, let's hope it can be more. Well, they have tried to be more like the first movie, but maybe borrow stuff from the first movie, but then try to be its own thing at the same time. Just give us something unique again. Yeah. Instead of, copying from the original when the original is already better and you'll never be able to beat it. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a good fight, but Riddick wins, then gets back to the group, then they kind of don't trust him since, yet again, he's the only survivor. Because every time someone dies, he's always near the person that's going to die, so say if they didn't really, know if the creatures were there, they'd probably blame Riddick and definitely not trust him. He does try to help him survive, but they always keep getting killed. And it gets to a point where he's willing to abandon them, but then he sees Jack in trouble. And then he actually takes on one of the monsters by himself. That was such a badass moment as well. Yeah. Because he was actually going to leave with the cells, just abandon them. But then he goes back for him. And then, there's a scene where, near the end, it's kind of like, when everyone kind of hides in a cave, but then I guess Fry, goes to Riddick, and then Riddick's saying that he's going to leave. And then, like, when she's going to submit, she kind of remembers the things that she did at the beginning of the movie, and she wanted to be better than that. Because she has come a long way from the beginning of the movie to this point, where she doesn't really want to abandon anyone, and she's willing to actually die for them. Because in that scene where when she pulled the lever, she didn't want to die for any of these people, but by the end, like, she would die for all of them, even Riddick. And that's what unfortunately happens, yeah. Because when Riddick goes back to save the others who were in the cave, Riddick gets left behind, and there's like two of the monsters which are on him at the same time. So in that moment, if it wasn't for, I guess, Caroline Fry, like, Riddick might have died in that moment. Well, it's hard to know for sure, but yeah, she did help him, get away from him, but then she gets killed, like, which is very unexpected, because you'd think that she was actually going to survive, but I guess not. I guess she died a hero instead of a coward, because from the beginning of the movie, like, we viewed her character as a coward. Because back then, I liked William more than her. And then William turns out to be a huge douche who's willing to let everyone die and then, just make sure he gets all the money for Riddick. But yeah, that's a sad scene. Then Riddick's just saying, not for me. You shouldn't, basically, not dying for him. Because he doesn't really feel like he's worth dying for. She did die for the others though, but yeah. Because I don't think Riddick would ever think that he'd ever really be human, and that question comes up from, I guess, I don't know if she does ask that question really, like if he would ever fit into like normal people. I don't know if he ever would really, because Riddick's not really a normal person. Alright, so that was my review on Riddick, the first Riddick movie, Pitch Black. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely a classic movie. I can see myself watching this again every year, really. Well, maybe not every year, but I'd say every year or two. But yeah, if you've never watched it before, I highly recommend it. I guess I'll be reviewing the sequels sometime next year. Maybe play the game as well on Xbox Original. But yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace. With